Sabrina here is a content creator. She has a platform on here on TikTok as well as YT. She also is my personal editor. She helps me with everything I need as far as book wise, as far as promoting my product, as far as just encouraging me. She is also a great listening ear. She is a jack of all trades. She wears many hats. So, how are you doing today? If you want to call you Sabrina or Thick Madam?
It doesn't matter. Thank you for that introduction. I feel so ow.
Absolutely, absolutely. You are my person. And I tell people all the time, this is my family, TikTok, this is my community, this is where I feel most welcome, this is
Mhm.
where all my help comes from. So you have been here pretty much with me almost day one. It's been a couple of years now. So
Yeah,
you're like family at this point. And I was so
for
honored for you to
sure.
ask me to spotlight you tonight. So I was like, absolutely, I had already been thinking it. So we were in sync. Definitely,
Thanks so
definitely.
much for having me.
You're more than welcome. So it's kind of pretty much a very casual atmosphere. I'm just going to ask you a couple questions, answer anything you feel free to answer, anything you want to add, anything you want to promote. I know you do a plethora of things. You're on your natural weight loss journey, been for a few years. You've also done some new content creating. You have a podcast that I've also watched a couple of episodes on. And this is where I keep up with my current events. So I'm definitely going to go and let you take the floor. Just give us a little bit of background, what your upbringing was like, how, whatever you feel comfortable sharing with the audience.
Okay. Hello, everybody. As CJ said, my name is Sabrina Johnson. I am a Florida native, however, an Air Force baby. My father was in the Air Force for 22 years, so I have the pleasure of having been born outside of the state of Florida. I was born in Indiana. Very shortly after that, we went to Germany, and once we came back to the States after my parents divorced, moved to Florida with my mom, and still raised with my father and that side of the family. And I think probably because I'm an only child, very much into entertainment, into movies, into music. And so I found a love for being nosy and in all of the business, and really a love for like anything social media, anything technology based, as far as, I've done the MySpace, I've done, was on Instagram early and have seen all of like social media change and those things. I grew up a Word Up, Right On magazine girl, so that's where a lot of like my love for current topics and music and who wrote what songs and being in the CDs. And I think I just was realizing yesterday I was a person to stand in the grocery line with my mom and look at the gossip rags. Yes, like I would look at the magazines where they would be saying somebody's pregnant by an alien or these two people are cheating. I can't
Yes.
even think of what the name of the like magazines were,
The
but back
Inquirer.
in the day, they used to have them just right there while you were in the line to get your groceries, and that stuff was always just interesting to me. So I think that's a lot of where my nosiness came from, and kind of how I just have continued into social media. And here recently, probably in the last maybe year and a half, 2 years, I've gotten more serious about my social media journey, my YouTube channel, posting, and have had the opportunity to make friends and family like yourself, and just be a part of a community here on TikTok and other platforms that is starting to now become a career for me.
And we love that. We love that. And I do have the pleasure of following you on each and every one of those platforms. And like I said earlier, you are absolutely where I get my news from. I am not a big news person. I don't follow the current events. So when I want to know what's going on, I'm like, let me pop on here. And you always have like the most interesting questions. So I do want to ask you that. I love, love, love the questions of the day. Where do they come from?
So sometimes my questions of the day are just random thoughts that I have. Like if I'm just randomly thinking about something, I'm like, I'm just gonna post that on Facebook. And then I've also used my favorite producer, ChatGPT, like, hey, I need some engagement questions. What are gonna be some good questions? And then I'll look at those and kind of tweak to make them either fit something more that I'm wanting, or I go with what's sent. But sometimes a lot of those will come from ChatGPT that are good conversation starters.
Okay. So I know
Mhm.
that you are heavy in the social media streets and I follow you like when you do shake and shred. So tell us, I know you don't have like a specific time you typically go on, but tell me like where you're at in the journey here on TikTok. Like what are your times? What are you promoting and anything in the making?
So with as you mentioned the shake and shred, so that's actually what started kind of my TikTok live career or journey was a lot of my posting about my weight loss and my workout class, and that's where a lot of my followers have come from. Um, I think that as far as like my TikTok journey, it's just a matter of really the getting into the different communities. So with TikTok, I'm promoting all of my things, my weight loss, kind of just the hodgepodge, my weight loss, my podcast, which is yes, another one podcast. I post clips of it there. I am on all podcast platforms. And then there is a long form video of the podcast on my YouTube channel and just honestly promoting my opinion a lot, a lot of the times, what my thoughts are, what's hot topic, and what I think about it. Or I enjoy, doing dances from time to time. So whatever may be current in TikTok streets and the dance trend, I'll give it a try here and there.
And it's funny you say that because when I think back to our earlier journeys here on TikTok about 2 or 3 years ago, between you and Boy's Mom, you are the ones who promoted me to start doing those TikTok dances because I would see you at Planet Fitness
Yeah.
actually performing these dances in the middle of the floor. And I was like, hey, I'm going to try this one. So I definitely will say that you are a person who motivates and encourages. One of the things I love and I envy at the same time when I go into your shake and shred class when you're doing that workout, the number of people that you have in attendance just watching you work out is phenomenal. Myself, I do a little workout and I might get 10 people if I'm lucky on a given day. But I'm looking at your numbers, and on an average day, you're ranging over 100 plus people just watching you work out. So not only are you entertaining, you're also showing people I'm not only talking the talk, I'm walking the walk. And so that is something that I admire. So tell me a little bit about shake and shred and how that started.
Um, okay, I'm trying to think really quickly how I ended up going to Shake and Shred. It was in February 2020, I decided I'm gonna put my big girl panties on and I was gonna really like focus on losing weight. So I changed my eating initially and I was really like doing some walking, but not a whole lot. And I did that from like February to April, and then I already had a Planet Fitness membership that I had been paying on for years, but I had not been going. And so I started back going to the gym and I joined a boot camp that I went to in the morning because of another friend. So a friend who was having a gastric sleeve surgery. This was a boot camp that she was going to, and she had just come back because I think she went to Mexico to get hers done, and she had just come back and she couldn't work out. And I said, in her honor, I'm going to go to the boot camp class, and I fell in love with that boot camp class. I believe that I met somebody else in that class because I'm now that I'm thinking about it, I can't really recall what ended up making me go to Shake and Shred. But I went to one class and fell in love with it. Fell in love with the people there. Fell in love with the vibe of it. Shake and Shred is another community of people that are there to support me, that hype me up, gas me, gas me up sometimes beyond where my mind might think I am. But it is a dance fitness class. There is a variety of class options. So our Monday class is like Caribbean, soca, island music. It still involves, squats and lunges, but it's really more dance based for that class. And then there's a Tuesday class, which I have gone to a couple times. That is Temple Tuesdays, and it's a faith based. So you have contemporary Christian music and gospel music that is in that playlist. And the teacher for that class is really hype. Like she's gonna run you through it. Like she's not playing, even though we dancing to Mary Mary or to what's the young lady name? I love her songs. Um, I haven't heard any songs from her in a while. Won't he do it? You know he will. I
I know
can't
her
think
name,
of
but
what her
I'm
name is
familiar
right
with the
now.
song.
But her songs, even if you're moving to those songs, the movements in that class are you like, oh my gosh, am I thought I was gonna get a little break because it was a little holy in here, but no. And then Wednesday is like weights focused, although there's still a dance piece. And then Hit Thursdays is typically like stations and stretching, which will still have a dance element to it. And it just I like to move my body because even if like I'm in the store and there's music playing, there's always like a little sway in my hip. So I enjoy the dance piece of the exercise and getting other stuff, jumping jacks and squats and all that stuff. But being able to dance and really move your body in that expression way, it got me. And so it's the easiest way to keep me tied to moving and working out. And then, Donna's going to throw in all that other stuff. So.
And Donna's tough. I watched Donna, and I am in the bed as you guys are shaking and shredding, doing like, yes, go. I'm pumping you up. I'm your hype man all the way from New Jersey to Florida. I am hyping you. So I do want people to know that if you are in the Florida area, I believe you're in North Florida. How do you guys classify?
It was considered Central Florida in Orlando.
Okay, so if you're in the Orlando area and you are interested in joining these classes, you can always hit Thick Madam up, and I'm sure she can give you that information. And I think it's a pretty decent cost. When I hear you guys talking about cost in the background, it's pretty budget friendly. And
it is pretty budget friendly. So if you do a drop-in class, I think the drop-in fee is $8 now. So if you just come to any class, it's just $8, and you can pay singular class. If you want to say, hey, I'm going to come Wednesday and then I'm going to come next Thursday, you can pay that way, or it's $30 a month and you can come to all 4 classes every day of the month. So no, it's very affordable. And then there are, and I have it actually linked in my bio. So if you are interested, you're in Orlando, it's at Barnett Park, which is one of our community centers. There is a link in my bio to my link tree that has the link to the Shake and Shred website. There are also free passes. So if you've never been to Shake and Shred, yeah. So when you do come to Florida, if you come during the week.
The flight could be free. And then you come to Florida. The last time I went to Florida was the last time I went to Florida. It is not for me. But like, I would come for you. For you, I was specifically coming.
We'll get you here during the
I despise Florida. Florida is not for me, but for you, I will come and stay 2 days. You got 2 days before I start losing my mind. Like Florida, and I'm also here. Chosen is also in Florida as well. I forgot what part he's in, but he's also a Floridian. And so, yes, I've had the pleasure of I've been to Orlando twice. Of course, you have kids, you go to Disney, you do all the things. Disney, Florida, Orlando is not as bad as Fort Lauderdale. Now, there is nothing other than Hugh Jackman that could get me back in Fort Lauderdale. I will never go back to Fort Lauderdale. I know they say never, but they will never see this face again. It was ridiculous.
What did Fort Lauderdale do to you?
Those Geicos. Oh my God. Okay, yeah. The way I was running down the street like a lunatic was insane. Yes.
So South Florida is notorious for, even though I think in Florida overall, alligators are here, like at our parks, some of our parks we've had them, but you're not just going to walk in your neighborhood and see an alligator unless you live by a lake. Like, so there are people whose houses like are on water, like smaller bodies of water. So they may have that, but you don't hear it a lot as far as Central Florida. But South Florida for sure, lots of gators, lots of geckos and iguanas.
And frogs
and lizards and So, and I think because I feel like down there's a lot of like foliage and that's kind of their environment too. Because it's, further down you go, it's it's a little bit hotter down there. So yeah, but here you're okay. But you can get a free pass to go to the class. So we're gonna get you a free pass to go to class one time.
So I want to shift a little bit to the other part. Definitely want to talk to you a little bit more about the content creating. Like I said, I know you started off here with the Shake and Shred, doing your workouts, and you've evolved. Tell us a little bit about now what you're doing as far as like the podcast and how that started and how that's going.
Yeah, so I'll just to kind of go back just a little bit because these things are starting to come on my Facebook memories. 10 years ago, I was reviewing shows, Quantico and Blind Spot, on my YouTube channel. So I've been doing the social media thing, but not consistently, right? And so I've made that intention to consistently post on my social medias, consistently stay with what's new and trending and talk about those things if it's of interest to me, because everything is, not for me. And in me locking in with that, I'm like, I want to start a podcast. I want to run my mouth. Like I feel like talking. Like I want to say something. And I had a TikTok friend to actually invite me on his podcast. I don't know if the episode ever aired. I don't recall hearing it on his, but I bought a mic. And I said, well, since I bought the mic to do his podcast, I might as well record my own. So I said, kind of what did I want to talk about? And it really is just about me. So I call it Yes, Another One podcast because yes, another podcast. Yes, another one. And it's really a lifestyle for me podcast, like me being transparent about my weight loss journey, me being transparent about a recent breakup that I'm working through, and just things that I think will benefit others when you are analyzing life, analyzing yourself, and then also having some fun moments, being able to laugh at certain things, being able to just enjoy. Because I just did my episode 10, and that was more fun. I did kind of a get to know me, things that I'm loving, things that I'm liking. But the intention is for us to, for my community from that podcast perspective, for us to analyze life, look at the things we're going through, see where we can see the positive side of it. What are we getting from it? How are we growing from it? And just talking about those things that adults in my age group are going through. I think that a lot of people are probably going through those things, still figuring out life at our big age, as we say it, and how it's impacting us moving forward day to day.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things I love is the diversity of your show, because I am one of those people who get bored easily. So I love going on a platform where I'm kind of like, even though you give us kind of like a behind the scenes of what's coming next, I know that it's going to be different every time. And like I said, I love the current events. Tell us a little bit about your last episode. I know you talked a little bit about, if it's not Ray J and the other young man, and you talked a little bit about this. So tell us a little bit about your like recent episode and the current events that you went over.
So on the episode here recently, I actually talked about two topics that are hot here, and we could talk about Ray J and that drama is something that I want to dig into a little bit more. But let's talk about Ray J, since that's the one that you asked about. So if you all do not know, so Ray J is upset and getting into it with the rappers Shine and Mace. And it's all because of Brandy. So if you don't know, Ray J loves his sister. That is his best friend, and that was her first song, one of her first songs, Best Friend, and that was about her brother. That was Ray J. So they're very close. But he was upset because they were talking about that they both dated Brandy at the same time. So I don't know if a lot of people know that, but Brandy did date Mace. And yeah, back in the day. And she also dated Wanye from Boys to Men.
I don't know any current events. I'm never down. I don't even know what you guys tell me here in the streets. So.
And then, see, this is why I say I'm nosy and I'm just in everybody's business, because fun fact about Wanye from Boys to Men and Brandy dating, he was also dating Adina Howard at the same time.
Oh wow, what a mixed match. Like they're so opposite end of the spectrum. And
yes,
we'll talk about that another time. I do believe that that's the true. I hear men say all the time, you married a woman that you want to have your children, but you got the woman that you really want on the side. Because
not like to get I've heard some things, and Miss Adina Howard is no game and she don't play.
That's what I'm saying. So that's the fun girl. That's the girl that you're going to love, going to be with, but you're going to be your wife because she looked good on paper. And so I think many men follow that trait. I've come to realize that you're the paper girl. Yeah. So,
and she herself has even come out and said that's the reason why her second album got shelved, because her and Brandy were actually at odds. She ended up, Adina Howard cussed out a record. They were on the same label.
Okay.
And she cussed out the record executive because the record executive is telling her, you need to leave Wanye alone. And she's like, I'm going to mess with who I want to mess with. And, basically F you and don't tell me what to do. And so they shelved her project.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow.
So I did not know that. And I loved Adina's first album. I mean, it was just back in that day, that was something new. It was crispy. She was, crossing boundaries. It was like, and then, you stuck into the little Kims and whatever. So it sounds like you're pretty up on current events. And that pretty much sounds like one of the things that you really spotlight on your podcast. So for members in the audience, tell them how they can find this podcast.
So I'm available on all podcast platforms where people normally listen to them. On Spotify, yes, another one. On Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon. So anywhere you typically listen to. I'm on a couple of other smaller ones. I can't think of those names right now. But I am on a couple of smaller podcast platforms. So basically anywhere that you search, yes, and it is actually yes, and then it's for ... another one podcast. It should come up. You'll see my face. There are links in my link tree. So if you search it and you can't find it, come to my Thick Madame page, go to my link tree. There is a link to the podcast there that will allow you to hear all 10 episodes. I release weekly on Mondays, so I'll be recording probably tomorrow or sometime this weekend, edit, and get that prepared for Monday.
So tell us, and I'm going to go to the audience for questions in just a minute. For anyone who's in the audience or like a person like me who is looking to start a podcast, what does that process look like from start to finish?
Honestly, if you want to start a podcast, do so. It is very simple to get started. The podcast kit that you see here on TikTok, I'm actually going to buy one. That's not what I have. I just bought a microphone. I just bought a $35 microphone off Amazon. That comes with the cords that you need to connect either to your phone or to a laptop. You can get a free account on, it's called Spotify Creators. That Spotify Creators will allow you to post to Spotify and then cross post to Apple, to Amazon, to iHeart. And you, there is, so where I record, there's a application called Riverside. But really, if you were to Google like podcast recording applications, any of those will work. Because basically what you're doing is recording on that application, pulling the WAV file, which is your audio file, and you're uploading that on to Spotify Creator, which is then uploading that on the other platforms. So it is very simple. Like once you have your microphone equipment, the other stuff is all internet based. So there's not a lot of like work. You don't have to be fancy. You don't have to go on camera initially. If you just want to be audio, you don't have to. I do video because it gives me additional options about posting on YouTube, posting on TikTok and my other platforms. But you can be strictly just an audio podcast platform. And it's very cheap as far as the money that you would spend to start it, which is really just going to be for your microphone equipment. And then actually going online and uploading it there. So I encourage anybody that if you feel like you have something that you want to talk about, there's something you want to express, even if you only want to do it for 10 episodes or you only want to do it for 5 episodes, I would definitely recommend starting it because there's going to be someone who's going to be able to benefit and take something from whatever you are looking to share with them.
Okay. And I did, we started discussing a podcast back August, September, me and Boy's mom. I have everything written out. It just, with this, everything that's going on, I just haven't. So I would love to have you, help me with that and actually come on and co-host a couple of episodes, probably initially. So with you doing your current podcast, are you looking to do any expansion where you're going to be bringing on guests or co-hosts or anything like that?
So I'm doing a little bit of expansion in different ways. So I do want to eventually have guests to come onto my podcast and talk about different topics and things, just in terms of, walks of life. If it's about entertainment, for instance, having you on, I think, to talk about mental health would be a good conversation. And even with us having those, like it's very simple. And I would encourage, if you and Boy's mom really want to do it, it is something that you all can still do from where you are, because those applications like Riverside and I use another one called Restream. Those allow you to do it, just you're where you are, she's where she is, and you all can come, together, just in that, like, kind of like a Zoom situation is what it ends up being like. That you can record the video piece of it if you all want, or it's just audio and we can discuss. But I definitely want to eventually have guests on my podcast. I am going to be starting another podcast with a friend who we are ones that like to run our mouth and talk with each other. So
is it the gym that you're on here with by any chance on TikTok? Is it him?
Is it who?
Is it the guy that you're on the TikTok with that I've seen lately?
My friend Dale.
I think so. He was at the hospital or something one day.
Oh no, not that gentleman.
Oh, okay.
There's a different friend who I'm going to start it with. Somebody that I've been friends. We actually found out that most likely we're related, but we've been friends for like 10 or 13 years now, and we used to hang out at his apartment, and then we actually became roommates at one point. But every day after work, we used to sit around the round table, and we would talk, and just, it would get sometimes heated just because, differences of opinion. There'd be like 3 or 4 of us at a table just sitting around and talking. And so he and I, even now, when we get on the phone, we're talking about shows and we're talking about different, hot topics and stuff. And so we thought it'll be a good idea to try that. So that's something else I'm going to do, just creating another podcast. But I'm open, like, you saying, hey, come on here and talk with me, I'll be over there. I'll be over there to talk with you. And then, so if as long as I can work it out and fit it in the schedule, I'm down for it. So yeah, I intend to have guests in the future. Probably not. Let me not say that, because I don't know what's going to happen. It's not something that's right in the forefront of my mind now, but the way that things work themselves out on how they're supposed to work out, who knows? It could be in 3 or 4 episodes. So,
okay, well, we'll definitely be on the lookout. So, like I said, your bio is in your link tree is in your bio. Anyone who's interested in following you as far as your journey, whether it's with Shrink and Shake and Shred, there in Florida, there's a class that she takes. That's $8 a class. I'm also going to be uploading this interview on my YT for anyone who missed the beginning. So, like I said, she's a plethora of information, anywhere from expanding your community. Especially, you've helped me a lot on the Book of Faces. You really helped me with that creative outlet with my business page, and I really, really thank you for that. Even down to doing the illustrations for the new book. So I will tell you, if you're looking for anybody who just give you information to help you grow in the social media content area, she is your person. And again, please subscribe to the podcast. Does anybody have any questions for Sabrina before we take a short intermission? And thank you for everybody joining. And thank you. I appreciate you for coming in this late evening. Yeah, I definitely appreciate having you on here. Like I said, we're long standing here. You're one of my oldest TikTok and dearest friends, and you have been a wealth of information helping me grow in this. I remember when I first came on here, I had like 100 followers. Now I have like 12,000, and just, you just supporting me through that and supporting me on my business page as well has been amazing. So I am going to thank you for coming in this evening, and we're going to take like a 2-minute intermission, and then we're going to welcome up our next guest.
Thank you. Chosen said something about the book that I wrote that you're getting credit for. What is he talking?
Oh, he's talking about my book. And so, since he mentioned that, while we're doing a short intermission, I guess I could. Yes, for those of you who do not know, I am a self-published indie author. I have 3.5 books now on KDP. They are all poetry books ranging from mental health to love to community aspects to a few short stories, you name it. All of these books are under $15. They are in paper as well as ebook. The ebook, if you are a Kindle Unlimited subscriber, they are free. They are further free. I did not charge my Kindle subscribers. I felt like that was something I could do. So if you want more information, my link is in the bio. You can also follow Thick Madam if you need more information about content creating or starting your own podcast. So I thank you for coming up. And we're going to go ahead and introduce our next guest, Nikki Tenacious. Thank you, Brenda, so much for coming on. Did you want to stay up or you want to? I can hear you. Hold on.
I muted myself. And since I'm on, I can disconnect myself, or do I have to have?
I think I can do you. I'll drop you down. Okay. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate that. Bye, you all. I'll be down.
Okay, so Nikki, are you in the audience? I think I saw her. I don't see her. If Nikki, if you are in the audience, can you do an invite for me? I don't see you listed on. Well, what did I do? Somehow I
You dropped me out. Yeah,
oh,
you
I'm sorry.
dropped me out.
Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can drop you. Sorry. Sorry about that. Nikki, if you are on, I don't see you as a guest, but can you give me a send first so I can accept you? Thank you for your heart. Thank you, guys. Let me see if I can find her. Sorry for the delay. I don't see her. Can somebody inbox Nikki for me, please? Nikki Tenacious, one of the TTC crew. I know she had popped on earlier, but I'm not seeing her. Thank you guys for coming out with me this evening for Raw and Unfiltered Spotlight. For anyone who would love to be spotlighted, you don't have to have a special talent. Anything that you want to discuss, anything from your creative writing to communities, anything. There is nothing, the sky's the limit. You can discuss anything on the show. It typically airs 8 p.m. Eastern time on Thursdays. If you have any questions in the audience, please feel free to ask. Sorry for the delay. Okay. She just texted me, so she's running about 10 minutes late. So I am probably going to put somebody on the spotlight to fill a little bit of time. Guys, give me about 7 minutes. She texted me like 3 minutes ago saying she's running 10 minutes late. I will do a short poem if that's okay with you guys. I'm sorry I wasn't prepared for this. All right, bear with me. I won't pick anything sad, I promise. Speaking of communities. Okay, I'm going to read this because this is pretty much dedicated to this. The theme of this last 2 weeks, and I'm just going to go over a short synopsis. In the last few weeks, I've had the pleasure of people reaching out to me with different resources, whether it's a prayer, finances, I mean, you name it. And a lot of it has come from this community. So when I started to think about all the things how people have shown up, it kind of brought me back to this poem. So while we're waiting for Nikki, I'm going to read it. It takes about maybe a minute. And the title of this poem is called Kindness Matters, and you can find it in 50 Unfiltered, The Emergence. Kindness matters. It's fair to say that we're all facing some type of invisible battle. The mom who lost her children's father to suicide, the estranged dad who longs to be forgiven, the socially awkward, the person stuck in a dead-end marriage, grieving the life they thought they'd have. The parents whose child was abducted, the grandparents that lost their only child to cancer, the aunt who was raising her brother's children due to addiction, the parent that stayed sheltered in their home all day because of anxiety, the siblings who carry the responsibility of an adult who is ill, the teen mom who has 3 kids who was just searching for love, The person who was laid off a few years before retirement, the child who lost their father, the addict who can't seem to get it right, the ones who have lost hope due to life circumstances. I see you. For some, I am you. To others, I fear becoming you. Life can be unpredictable. The only things that is certain is death. I can count on more than one hand how many of my never evers have ever. So in a world where we have little control over everything that happens, the only thing I can control is how I show up for others. I choose kindness, compassion, and understanding. It's said that anger is a secondary emotion. So often when I come across someone who is unkind, I consider what's behind it all. Is it grief? Is it shame, mental illness, embarrassment, fear, hurt, or even betrayal? One might say all of those are excuses, because for some, they can't fathom a life outside of their own. I refuse to become to these things. In a world where it's not my problem, I choose compassion, love, and understanding. In the end, kindness is what matters. And so when I think about this community, I think about the kindness that I've encountered. So it looks like we picked Nikki up. Yes, there she is. Okay. Nikki, can you send me an invite? I see you now. There we go. Yes. Welcome. So everyone, please welcome the lovely Nikki Tenacious to the platform. Nikki, I'm going to let you do a little bit of an introduction about what you do here on the platform and how you show up in your community. And how are you today?
I'm well. Thank you for inviting me here. Hello, everybody. Hey, everybody. How y'all doing?
And like our first guest, she also is in Florida. So we have two Florida guests here today. So Florida seems to be the theme. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Nikki.
Okay, well, I'm from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So that's South Florida. I actually live in Fort Lauderdale now, but I was born and raised in Lauderhill, which is a suburb of Fort Lauderdale. So when I said today I was in the live and I said, who's not from the suburbs? I was talking about myself. I am from the suburbs. But basically on TikTok, I haven't started my lives yet, but what I want to do, I want to focus on intentional vitality. So if you read my bio, you'll see what it says. It's basically like living with a purpose and how to take care of yourselves physically, mentally, and financially.
Okay, so tell us, can you expand on that a little bit about like what started that and what that means to you?
Okay, so let me slow down a little bit. Okay, so it come from like my own personal journey. Back when I graduated from college, probably like 2 years, no, it was probably a year. And I was staying on my own up in Jacksonville, Florida. So I was away from my mom. I wasn't eating right. I was eating any and everything that I wanted to, or whatever, what have you. But then I started noticing some changes. I was trying to lose weight, but I was losing too much weight, right? So it was like rapid weight loss. So I had something called Graves' disease. Right. So I suffered with that in my, I guess I say mid-20s, early 30s. But through that, I would say I had a miraculous healing. I don't take any medications right now. I mean, when I say I was at the church, I slept at the church. I lived to the church. I was a PK growing up, but I was at the church more then when I was going through what I was going through. So God miraculously, I feel like he miraculously healed me with no surgery or anything like that. Not saying that I didn't have any other type of procedures done, but I didn't have to have surgery, nothing invasive like that. But from that point on, because of some of the procedures that I did have to go through, I was very intentional about what else I put in my body and to stay healthy. And it's been working for me. I'm not a doctor yet. Not a medical one anyway. Very close to being an educational one, but I'm not sure if I want to do all that schooling. But yeah, so basically it's a personal journey for me. And basically I want to do my lives based on that. And
tell us a little bit about that. So when you say, it sounds like you pretty much have a strategic diet. Can you give us a little bit more insight on that diet?
It's strategic in a way, because I eat what I want to eat, but I make sure it's right. It's the right thing.
Okay. Okay. So would you
basically.
say more
So,
whole grains or more tell us like kind of like
oh
give
yeah,
us an example of like what you typically eat on an average day.
okay. So I want to create a space where people can explore different choices for themselves with like no pressure and stuff, so we can just grow together.
Okay.
Um, let me see. Basically, it's gonna be about your mental health, your physical health. I'm not coming as a teacher because I've been doing that for 28 years. I'm not coming here to teach nobody nothing. I come to TikTok to have fun and to learn and grow. I like to learn in a fun way. Not saying that the TikTok lives are not fun, but even the teachers getting tired. And I done heard plenty of teachers saying they getting tired. They want to play games. That's why I don't want to do that on TikTok. All day I teach. So I'm gonna be playing games in my lives. But it's gonna be dealing with what my lives deal with. So if you're out there and you're listening, if you can download the Yuka app, you probably already have it. If you do that, I like to play something called "What's in My Food." What's in your food? I ain't never played it before, but I think y'all gonna like it. Okay, it's gonna be cool, Dad. I guess I might change the name. We'll see. But download that app and start looking at what's in your food. Scan everything and your cosmetics too. Let me know if I'm too loud because I'm getting excited. Let me calm down. Who's saw?
So if one of my moderators could put that in the chat, the YUCA, you said it was?
No, YUKA.
YUKA, the Yuka
It
app.
has a little carrot. It has a little carrot by it.
Okay. Well,
If you go
definitely.
to
So
Play Store,
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
the Yuka app. Scan everything you can. Scan the stuff in the store before you get it. You're gonna be surprised. Scan your favorite things.
Okay. Okay. So definitely sounds like you're more health conscious and spirit based. So it's total mind, body, and soul from what I'm hearing.
I'm coming, but I'm just coming as someone who's learning and growing with my audience.
Okay. So
too.
tell me.
So
I know you said you're also a teacher. So tell me a little bit about that outside. Like I know you're in a sorority. I know you do a lot of community things. So can you expand a little bit on that?
yeah, sure. I'm a teacher, and with teaching, I teach middle school age girls, and in my sorority, I'm an AKA Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. I'm the chairman of the YLI committee. That's the youth leadership initiative that we have, where we have the kids. Basically, they're leading this youth program with the structure that we give them.
Can you expand on that a little bit about what that program looks like and where it's located and how others can come to it?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to explain. Okay, so the program, it empowers middle school girls. I mean, it's actually for boys and girls, but we have a group of girls. Through their leadership development, those STEM programs, we expose them to those, financial literacy and community service activities. We're doing a cultural exploration project on tomorrow where the girls are going to learn about the African drum and the African dance, and they'll be participating in that. Y'all know I'm going to be participating in it also, but you might not know because I used to dance in college. I still do dance, and I had made this big announcement about me dancing at South Atlantic Regional Conference in Orlando in the beginning of April. So we're working on that dance routine right now.
So what would you say for your program? I know you said you're located in Fort Lauderdale. Is that specifically centered there or is it nationwide? How does that work?
That's a nationwide program. YLI is. Now what we're doing on tomorrow, that's just for our area, and that's going to be in the Pompano area where we're having that dance program.
Okay,
so if they're interested in that, they could follow Chi Psi Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority on Facebook, and they have the calendar there of events.
So I know a lot of my community has teenage daughters and sons and different things. So what is the age group for that program?
11 through 13. So that's like the middle school age.
Okay. And how can they get more information on it? And tell us a little bit about what that program offers and how often, as much information as you could tell us.
We meet 1 to 2 times per month. This initiative has been going on since 2002. It ends this year when we bring in a new president, but the girls, they meet 1 to 2 times per month, and we do different activities. We're also 2 weeks from now, we're doing a community laundry day event where we're donating laundry supplies and funds to the community for anyone who comes into the laundromat on this Saturday. And we do it for a couple of hours. We take different shifts. So the girls will be doing it with the sorority. And we're taking different shifts, and then they're learning how to serve their community and give back at the same time. So we do a couple of events per month with the girls. And I'm a member of the Charmettes Incorporated. Now this is a different type of service. This is a service organization. It's not a sorority. So it's women that you have to have a high school diploma to be a part of it. You don't have to be college educated. However, we're also a national nonprofit focused organization focused on cancer advocacy, fundraising, and support. We support different organizations for cancer research and eradication, but our main focus is Howard University Cancer Center. The Cancer Center is named after our founder, Gwendolyn Rogers. It's the infusion suite. We went and visited there, I would say 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, for one of our national conventions. And it was quite an interesting tour that they gave us of the Cancer Research Suite. And they showed us that one of the most dangerous factors in a person's cancer journey, or one of the most dangerous things that you can eat, is sugar. Wow. If you find yourself eating too much sugar, you're probably feeding a cancer cell.
So it sounds like you guys do a lot of community outreach. You also are involved in other initiatives. So I did have somebody in the audience. I know you said that the first program was nationwide. Can we circle back to that? Can you tell Kimmy a little bit about the information for the teens that are between 11 and 13?
Okay, so in almost every community nationwide, Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority has a way that you can contact them, especially on Facebook. I know that all of the chapters in every state have different have contact, and they all have this program. So if you contact that chapter and let them know you have a girl aged 11 through 13, they will let you know where they are meeting, and they'll give you all the information so that the child can sign up for that particular program.
Okay, and Lynette also had another question. We have quite a few questions from the audience. Lynette wants to know, do you all have a HIV center as well?
No, we don't. Actually, with the Charmettes Incorporated, we do work with other initiatives like human trafficking, but we have not worked with HIV. We also have a bone marrow initiative where we're soliciting blood marrow donations from young adults, because after a certain age, your marrow is not able to be donated. So we're doing that as well with NCNW. If you know what NCNW is.
So I'm definitely interested in the one. You circle back a little bit to me for the one for human trafficking, because that's something I'm very passionate about. Tell me a little bit about that initiative.
Okay, yeah. Well, that initiative, we raise money and we donate, and we give out information. We have workshops for awareness on human trafficking, especially in our community. It's best we work with them hand in hand.
Okay, so is there a specific if one person, is it specifically just your chapter that does it, or do you take outside volunteers? Like, how does that work?
It's actually it's also our national initiative for the Charmettes. So Charmettes are in I say we're in about 12 states, and in every state they have chapters, and they are also working with this initiative.
And you said that information is listed on Facebook as well.
It's online. Yeah, we have all of those, and it's on their websites. Both of those organizations have websites, and you can go to those websites and look up the information.
Now, do you have any of this information listed on your bio here, or do you have a business page with this information listed as well?
You know what? I should put it on my bio, but I can tell you what it is so that you can look up. Well, Alpha Kappa Alpha, aka 1908.com. You can go there, and then thecharmettes.com incorporated. thecharmettsincorporated.com is the website for Charmettes, and that's spelled CHARMETTES Incorporated.
Okay, so I'm going to get that information from you this evening or tomorrow, if that's okay, and I'm going to list it on my page. And I'll
Mhm.
also encourage you, if you are familiar with Linktree, to start a Linktree, because a lot of people in the audience are asking. So this is a great resource for you to get more volunteers and for people to connect, because there is such a need. I mean, I know you know firsthand there is such a need for these, especially with human trafficking. There's a huge need, and also for people to adopt those children that were left behind. So when you talked about that, it's something that's very near and dear to me. So
Oh,
also,
and you. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm listening.
it's okay. Also, yeah, so if you could get all of that chapter information from me, I can put it on my page. And then, like if you are interested in starting a link tree, that's somewhere where everybody can just go directly to that page and see all of your chapters and get that information so that we can get because that's huge. A lot of people are asking, so we want to, you want to grab them while the momentum is there.
Okay. All right. Cool. I'll get that information to you as soon as possible. I just wanted to add though. My neighbor from my childhood neighbor, he actually walked from Fort Lauderdale all the way to Washington D.C. Advocating for human trafficking. He did it on the West Coast as well. He walked up all the way from like San Francisco down to I think LA or somewhere south. He went down south California, walking in advocacy for the human trafficking. And do you know when he got to the White House, President Trump didn't even come out and meet him. This was during the Trump administration the first time. That was crazy. But yeah, he walked all the way there and he documented his entire journey. His name is Roger DeHart. He's on, I know he on Facebook. Because I'm new to this
Actually, that
TikTok
journey
stuff.
somewhere that we can pull it. I was going to ask you this.
Roger DeHart. He's a BSO officer in some type of way. He doesn't, I don't think he's a street cop, but I think he works in the courthouse, so that should be public information. But yeah, he walked and they let him go to walk, and it took months for him to do that, but he did it. I was amazed. It's like Forrest Gump.
Yeah, that is incredible. Like, yeah, and it's such a dangerous field. A lot of times, the church that I go to, they do a lot of things with human trafficking and adoption and things like that. And a lot of times we can't even air the service because the countries that they're in, the danger that they're in, and just being exposed. And so I think a lot of times we take for granted here in the U.S. how much freedom we really do have. Listening to some of those stories are really scary. They even had like a couple of the girls come in and do a testimony on like a hidden camera. And so those stories are heart wrenching. And that's why I said when I hear them, my heart just it breaks. So I appreciate the work that you and your chapter is doing. It really means a lot because that is it's not talked about enough.
Yeah, and I got that stuff documented where we had some people come in and speak about their human trafficking journey, and it was really really sad. The U.S. Congresswoman, she came down and she took pictures with us. She spoke because she's very instrumental in it. I can't think of her name right now, but she's based out of Miami, and she's a U.S. Congresswoman. But she comes to everything in the area. She's very instrumental, and she came to that human trafficking event that we held at the high school, and she spoke to us. And I mean, it wasn't well attended like I felt like it should have been, but I mean, as we get the word out more and more, I think people will start to come out and help out and try to help out in that area, because it's really it's such a hard thing to identify because it happens inside of a lot of families. Right. So it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to listen to when they're telling their stories, and when they overcome them, it's so joyous, and it's just like it's the love of God that keeps us from breaking down and not being able to be there for them. So we have to be strong for those individuals that's going through all of those types of things so that they can learn to grow and get over that stuff. Because I mean, they'll never forget about it, but at least they can move on from that stage of life.
Yeah. I had the pleasure of getting free tickets to go see Sound of Freedom. And when I tell you I cried, and I'm not exaggerating, I cried for like 3 days. I'm not even joking. I was speaking in tongues and everything when I left there. It was so heart-wrenching. I can't even watch it again. So I can't even imagine being firsthand, helping them. And then we had like a safe house. I forgot where they just built a safe house. And some of the little girls were talking about how they were abducted as early as 2 and 3 years old. And now they're well into their teens. So the stories are heart-wrenching. And I did do a piece about it in my latest book. It's called Captive, talking about human trafficking. And so when I tell you it's something that's near and dear to me, it really is. So I definitely appreciate that. So I know you said you're involved in the cancer center, also involved with teens. So you're putting in the work, you are putting the seed in community, and it is appreciated. So we are going to wrap up here. Before I let Nikki Tenacious go, did anybody have any questions about?
But I ain't done. I ain't done.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to crush you. Okay, I'm sorry. What did you definitely have? I will let you
2
go.
years ago. 2 years ago.
Mhm.
A friend of mine, she was like, please join my team. Please join my. I'm like, what team? What are you talking about? She was like, just join. She said, I'll pay for it. I said, pay for what? She said, I know you'll pass the test. I said, what test? And she was like, I need you to join my team. You can get your insurance license. You smart. You can do it. I said, I gotta go to school. She was like, it's a class. It's 2 days. It was a 3-day class. All day Friday, all day. I had to take off work and everything for this class. It was all day Friday, all day Saturday, and half a day Sunday. And we had to take the test. Well, I had to go and take a test at this center or something, this little place where they watch you and all of this stuff. But I passed the insurance license test.
So you're like, so I
still term life insurance with Primerica. So I joined her team. So I do that too. I sell term life insurance, and I'm working on my securities license where I'll be able to do investments with people and things like that.
Tell us a little bit.
Yeah, helping
we definitely want to hear about that.
legacy and yeah.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about Primerica. I used to have a Primerica policy, so I'm definitely familiar with. But tell the audience, for those of who are not familiar with that process, can you tell us a little bit about those insurance?
Oh, okay. Well, they're term life insurance policies, which are, to me, some of the best types of insurance policies that you could possibly have. I mean, I could sit down with you one-on-one and we can go over how much you'll be paying, depending on your health or whatever, because we do test you with this company. Yeah, I mean, I sell term life insurance right now. I'm like getting to the securities later. And that's the fun part, where we're saving the money that you're not spending on whole life insurance, thinking you're doing something, borrowing your own money and having to pay it back, but and not being able to get all of it when you die. But yeah, term life makes way more sense to me than whole life, and I can explain it to you, and you'll see where you can take those extra funds and invest those in some mutual funds, and things. So,
can you tell the audience, for those of who are not familiar with that, the term versus whole life, can you tell them a little bit about that process and what the benefits are versus whole life and term life, for those who don't know?
But term life is, you have these policies for a term, and a lot of people say, oh, I don't want those because it'll get higher the next time I have to get it. Well, no, if with our company, when you renew, we do not go up on the price if you stay with the policy. Now if you drop it and then you come back, then yeah, you got to retest it and all of that stuff like that. So if you continue with it and get another term, then yeah, you stay at the same rate.
And tell people the importance of having, just not only for the investment portion, but tell them the importance of the benefits of having this life insurance. Because you always hear about the benefits of the saving. I think we all pretty much are familiar with that, most of us. But tell us the benefits of why you also need it for like that time when it's for a funeral or different things. Because I don't think people
because your family, you don't want to put that burden on your family that time, in that time of life. So it's a replacement of your, like, I hope you work. So it's a replacement of your income for your family. It also takes care of your burial expenses and things of that nature, and it helps your family to get through the financial difficulties of the loss of that individual.
So one of the things I want to say, since I have you on here, because I think this is important to stress to people, a lot of times when because a couple of my friends are life insurance agents, so I do help them out. A lot of times when I'm talking to people, my peers, and they have children, 3, 5, whatever age, they kind of dismiss me. They're thinking that their children don't need life insurance. Tell them the importance of why you want to get it early.
Because it's cheaper, way cheaper. My daughter pays like $23, $24, the same as her age for her term life insurance. Yeah,
and I'm going to share this
cover, and then I pay $120.
It's not bad at all. For how much would you say 120 get you what, if you don't mind?
I have $120 a month, gets me about $250,000. That's me. Gets me that.
Okay. So I want to stress the importance from a person who firsthand went through this. I cannot stress enough for you guys who have children to get it as early as possible. And I'm going to tell you a story what happened to me. We all had life insurance. I missed my card change, so I don't check my mail. So I didn't see that Chloe's life insurance had lapsed. No problem. Called my girlfriend to restart it. Chloe cannot get insurance. Let me tell you why. Chloe has depression and had an attempt. Once your children are classified, nobody wants to insure them. So that's why I stress to people to get insurance while they're young and healthy before anything is diagnosed, to avoid that particular situation.
You're so right about that. Please don't get insurance within a year if you go into the hospital either. They're going to deny
It's
it.
past a year. It is over. They still won't insure her. Nobody will insure my baby at all. So that's why I stress.
Maybe it's the diagnosis.
It is. And so that's why I stress to people, do not wait. Get it early. And here's another person who said they went through it with their dad. So I cannot stress to you guys, it's a few dollars. I don't try to count anybody's money, but I think my baby's was only like $14. It's 2 cups of coffee, so I think it's a matter of what you're going to pay later, God forbid, if something happens. So Nikki, I'm glad you brought that up. It sounds like you are a wealth of information. Before we start to wrap up, do you have any other information? Because it sounds like you're a jack of all trades. Are there any other things that you want to promote?
I'm looking around like, I do it. I can say that for my lives. I need things to talk about.
Okay, no problem. Well, I would love to have you back on just to do a segment alone just on the life insurance portion. Because we talked a lot about the sorority, so I didn't realize you had so many different individual things. So if you don't mind, in a couple of weeks, if we could come back on and specifically focus on the insurance, because I think that's very important and I want people to hear what you have to say.
Sure.
Okay.
No problem. Thank y'all for listening.
I want to definitely.
I'm so glad all y'all showed up. Love y'all. Let me see who showed up. Hold on.
Okay, so I want to thank each and every one who took the time to come out. And I want to thank my 2 spotlight individuals, Nikki and Sabrina, for doing an amazing job. You both are brilliant in what you do. Anybody who has not taken the opportunity to follow these 2 ladies, please follow them. They are a wealth of information. So if you want to know anything about a podcast or building your community here on TikTok or on the Book of Faces, Sabrina is good at that. If you want to know anything about insurance, sorority, putting your kids, promoting them, middle-aged kids, Nikki has a page here. You can also follow her and inbox her as well. Nikki, before we close out, is there anything you want to say to the audience?
Thank y'all for coming through and supporting me. I love you guys. And if you follow me, you won't be disappointed.
And I will say she is very friendly. Both of my guests are overly friendly. They are welcoming. I've had the pleasure of speaking to you outside of TikTok, and it was a pleasure. Anybody who is looking to be spotlighted on Raw and Unfiltered Spotlight, again, this show airs every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. You just need to inbox me with your bio and a photo, and we can get you on as soon as possible. I want to thank each and every one of my guests for your 10,000 likes and for your gift gallery. And thank you for coming to spotlight my guests. You all have an amazing rest of your evening and stay safe. Thank you, guys. All right. Thank you, Nikki. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, cool. Talk to you.
Good night, you guys. Have a great one.